So yesterday I went and did something which I've been meaning to do for quite some time. I went down to Portchester shore and we went and did a little bit of mudlarking. We found an area that looks like it used to be an old harbour of some sort, and I have found clay pipe stems here and various interesting bits of china and so on. So we went and had a rummage around in the mud there. Now, it was not the best day for it. In fact, I've got very little footage from actually on site there because the wind was blowing so hard that it was actually hard to stand up. And I had a bucket with me and a trowel and the camera, and trying to manhandle all of those at the same time. If I put the bucket down, it actually blew away. So I got very little footage from the actual site. So I've got a few bits anyway. One interesting find was a big pile of bones. So let's quickly clear up the fact that these are not human bones. These are animal bones. They look like they might be from lamb shanks or something like that. The interesting thing is they're not fresh. They've obviously been in the water some years, but they're all in one place. So presumably they were either buried there in the mud, or must have been in some sort of container which has broken open recently and scattered them, because they're not very heavy, so they should have washed away by now, but if they've obviously not been exposed until now. A couple of other things we found, so various bits of pottery. So there's this thing which is a handle from a jug or something, but interestingly straight. Normally a jug handle would be curved in some way, but this was straight, so I think this must be like a tall water pitcher or something like that. A few little bits of blue and white pottery, some of it quite heavy. That's a fairly thick piece of stoneware there, but these pieces here are, well, fairly fine china. Can't really figure out what pattern they were or what they might have been part of, or whether indeed they were part of the same thing. I don't think so. This is the bottom of a marmalade pot or jam pot, and we can see the word Hartley's and label there. And this, when it was complete, would have said not genuine unless bearing Hartley's label. Hartley's is a brand of jam that still exists today, although obviously doesn't come in ceramic pots anymore. It's in glass jars now. A piece of Cornish ware. Looks like the rim of a cup, maybe, or perhaps a jug. Might not be genuine Cornish ware, I don't know. And this, which is an identification plate or something like that off of a boat, I think. I found it attached to a piece of timber. I brought this home and soaked it in a vinegar solution and then scrubbed it with a soft toothbrush to see if I could loosen up the corrosion and scale on it and see if there's anything readable underneath that. And there is. And so there's lettering on here. And let's have a close look. So we can just about make out, it says deck edge above, underwater fitting. There's what looks like a numeral 4 there and FT, so 4 feet. And there's /2 or something, 30/2 or something down here. So I think this must have been like a warning plate that was on a hatch that was below the waterline. So like an inspection hatch on a boat, perhaps something for inspecting the propeller shaft or something like that, that was below the waterline. And I think this is the sign that warned you not to open it when the boat was in the water. So you'd only open it in dry dock or something. What's interesting about this as well is that the drill holes are not even. So these two here are not opposite each other. They've kind of just been bodged into place. So this is perhaps something that was just handmade. Don't know how old that would be. Obviously not ancient, but interesting nonetheless. And there's this thing, which is a little ground glass stopper that would have gone in the top of a perfume bottle. It's faceted and there's a hollow inside of it. A little bit damaged on the tip here and on the bottom, but it's been tumbling around in the waves for, well, who knows how long. To me that looks like it might be maybe 1920s. It's got a bit of an Art Deco look to it. So yeah, not a massive haul, and I suspect not the best things we could have possibly found that day, but while we were there it started raining, and then the rain turned to hail, and when there's strong winds and hailstones, it's really not pleasant to be out, and so we had to make a hasty retreat. We were only out for about an hour, and we found these things. But I'm actually quite pleased with these two. These are my kind of prize finds for the day. Quite happy that we found those two things. And that was interesting. I'm definitely going to visit there again and do a bit more mudlarking in future. So thanks for watching, and I hope to see you again soon.